A new video has dropped for Mafia the Old Country, breaking Omertà, where it all began. So it looks like it's going to be about Sicily, which I find very interesting because that's where the game's going to be set, specifically in the fictional town of San Celeste. So maybe we'll find some more information about San Celeste and real life Sicily, and perhaps even some architecture, historical stuff. But anyways, I'm also very, very excited about this game coming in August. And yes, I'm definitely going to be playing Mafia the Old Country. Video linked below in the description section. So let's go check it out. All right, we'll get the...
We're going right back to that part of the story that we haven't told yet. How did the Mafia begin?
All of the men in this room are bound by blood.
I do like the fact that this game is a prequel. And even though a lot of us were hoping for like a Mafia 4 set in like the 70s and maybe Las Vegas or some other fictional version of real life cities, we can still get that one day. I think eventually Hangar 13 will give us a quote-unquote Mafia 4 in the 70s. But I like the fact they're going backwards and going to Sicily, the old country, where the Mafia began. And that makes me very, very excited about this game.
One of the strongest changes in direction we could take for the franchise creatively was to not set the game in a city, but rather to take it to somewhere else to show where these criminal customs and traditions began.
I'd very much consider Sicily and Sicilian culture
Looks
almost
good.
as a character within the story.
When I say to someone
That
1900
looks
Sicily,
beautiful.
where does their mind go? What have they seen before? What do they expect? What's the fantasy? We try and put ourselves in that place and try and imagine how we would start to build the game around that experience.
It also gives us an opportunity to present players with something that they haven't seen before.
Yeah, and that's just something that we haven't really had in a previous Mafia game. Because the first game is in Lost Heaven, second game is mostly in Empire Bay, except for the beginning, which actually does take place in Sicily during World War II. And then the third game is in New Bordeaux. So it is kind of cool to see a countryside feel and vibe in Mafia the Old Country. I really hope there's a free ride mode so we can just explore this world, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
We're quite lucky because Sicily at this time was photographed by a handful of people, and those photographs still exist. There's one really iconic image for me with a child, and you can see the incredible poverty.
Yeah.
There's such humanity in those faces. There's such a huge amount of storytelling in that location because they're also in front of one of these beautiful carved stone buildings. That's the starting point for me.
Yeah, and that's one thing about Sicily that a lot of people know about historically, is that a lot of people on the island of Sicily were very, very poor. But there's a few that obviously were well off, but the majority of the population of Sicily were down, I guess you could say, at the poverty or even below the poverty line, especially during this time period in the early 20th century.
Sicily's been in the franchise before.
I love
Sicily's featured
the
in Mafia
ancient
2.
architecture.
That's something
Yeah.
that was very interesting.
Yeah, I just brought this up. Yeah, exactly. So at the beginning of Mafia 2, with Vito, you're liberating Sicily in Operation Husky, and San Celeste is featured at the very beginning. So there is definitely a tie-in between Mafia 2 and Mafia the Old Country. Plus, the Scaletta family is from Sicily.
Us when we went back and looked at the possibility of...
Yeah, it looks, obviously it looks way better, but that's to be expected. I mean, this game was still amazing for its time. Where is it? I'm going to back up just like a few seconds, but... Yeah, I mean, this game was great for its time. It was amazing. It was beautiful when Mafia 2 first came out. But obviously, graphically, things have improved even since the late 2000s. I know that's a surprise to no one, but
Interesting to us when we went back and
it
looked
looks
at the
even better
possibility of
here.
making a new game in this environment.
Sicily is a much more diverse country than I think a lot of people imagine. Greek and Roman ruin.
Yeah, that's one thing I love as a history buff. I love like the Greek history, Roman history, especially the ancient architecture from both Greco and Roman. So it is obvious that historically, like Sicily's been conquered so many times by the Greeks, by the Romans, by so many others. I'm glad that they actually have the ancient Greek and Roman architecture in this version of Sicily for Mafia the Old Country.
and some of the Byzantine architecture as well as the Norman architecture, right? So it's a very diverse world.
Yeah.
Sicily is rich on many architecture styles. There are certain, as you call it, layers of history.
Yeah.
It's very exciting to explore this setting and time period. It brings some challenges also for us, but it's quite fun to try to tackle those.
The team's able to deliver really, really spectacular environments, beautiful looking scenes, which really
Yeah, it looks
captures
nice.
the essence of Sicily.
Yeah, I love that. Look at the attention to detail throughout this world. Like the wood with the stone and the dirt roads. Looks amazing. Plus the lighting is really, really good, along with the trees and everything.
I went with a team of artists to go to Sicily to work with Storm Minds, our dev partners in Sicily, and they took us on the most incredible journey, taking in so many different locations. Every day was super
God,
jam-packed
so
between
pretty.
museums and other locations, meeting people that you wouldn't have expected to meet, and there's no way that we could have met on our own.
We work closely with Hangar 13 to recreate early 900 Sicilian cities, ensuring that every cultural and narrative reference is as accurate as possible.
We wanted to highlight aspects of Sicily that many had never seen before.
I felt we were captured in a time capsule because from every corner of the street we've seen the history.
Sicily isn't just a backdrop
Wow,
for
that
us.
looks
It's a
pretty. Yeah, that spot looked really good. I definitely would like to go here one day.
History.
Sicily isn't just
Maybe one day. Maybe I'll go check out Italy and Sicily one of these days. But God, look at the rolling hills, mountains in the distance. Like seriously, Hangar 13, please give us a free ride mode for Mafia, the old country. You put so much work into the game. It would be a shame if we didn't have a free ride mode.
a backdrop for us. It's a place that welcomes you, that you come to understand and appreciate. We can't wait for players to experience firsthand.
It's an awesome view.
This is a family, and in this family, we follow a code of honor.
Our priority has always been to ensure that everything in the game feels authentic.
The details are absolutely key in keeping the immersion of the player.
We need to make sure that the game is grounded in the real history of the Sicilian Mafia. Experts in their field are able to kind of help us contextualize things that we read and the stuff that we see on the screen with real lived experiences.
When it comes to something like the knives,
Oh, yeah,
in
the
game,
knife fighting.
there's very little reference that's available for that, right? And so really we had to dig very deep. So we went into some tiny little backwater sort of machine shop where this guy and his son were still crafting knives by hand, imbuing them with their particular regional styles and also their thumbprints, if you like, of their particular approach to building knives. You just wouldn't really have experienced that any other way.
Previous Mafia games were more
So are we gonna Hangar 13? Are we gonna get this quote unquote knife in the game? It looks a little long to be a knife. It looks more like a sword. That's what I want for Enzo to use in battle. You know, his foes whip out a knife. And he's like, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." And I'm like, "But that's not a knife. It's a sword." Oh well, I still win. Whack.
Wouldn't really have experienced that any other way.
previous Mafia games were
Yeah, I want
more
that as
or
a
less
weapon.
city heavy. Now we are moving to more organic wildlife setting of Sicily.
Yeah.
A very realistic, high fidelity, authentic setting. It really feels like we're transporting you back to 1900 Sicily. That's what Mafia players really expect from one of our games.
Players will form a relationship with Sicily over the course of this game. The landscape
I'm looking
is
forward to
always
that.
a character in
God, it looks so good. Please give us a free ride mode. Please, Hangar 13.
any Mafia game.
I know I keep
think
asking,
that's
but-
especially true of this
Come on!
location and of this time period and setting.
The promise is to play a classic mob movie. That's the
Yeah.
game that you're going to play, allowing players to really imagine themselves back in that time and playing through the game as a Sicilian gangster. I hope players find it as exciting as we do.
I can't wait to show what we've built genuinely to the world.
I can't wait either.
Welcome, Enzo.
Oh, it looks good. And I do give props, obviously, to the teams behind Mafia, the Old Country, including Hangar 13. And that other team out of, Stormmind out of Sicily, for actually going through the effort, going to the country, talking to people, looking at photographs, looking at, historical things like architecture, ruins, and reading books in order to get the information that they need to make this game as authentic as possible. And that's something I've always appreciated about the Mafia franchise, from the first Mafia game to Mafia 2, as well as Mafia 3. And I really think that this is going to be an amazing game whenever it comes out in August. Once again, Mafia the Old Country is coming August 8th for PS5, Xbox Series, as well as PC via Steam. And you can pre-order it right now. By the way, I've done videos about Mafia the Old Country. If you want to check out the pre-order info, feel free and look over the Mafia Old Country playlist. Your thoughts, views, and opinions regarding Mafia the Old Country, welcome, as always, below in the comments section.